Today's video, I'm going to look at some things I saw on Orange33 Reddit, and this this happens a lot actually because these are the type of people that are allowed to say this stuff, and it reminds me of the court jester, how the court jester played a very specific and important role, and the court jester was the only one who could make fun of the king or the queen. And I feel like they often would poke fun at the gender swapping that the elites like to do. And anyways, that's what this reminds me of, is how it seems like basketball players, this happens a lot, that many basketball players, I feel like, have come out and said that they support flat earth because they know people are going to mock that, and that's why they're allowed to say stuff like this. Sure, go ahead, tell people that you're into flat earth. They're going to think you're a stupid jock or whatever. And I'm an example of somebody that went through academia, multiple degrees in STEM field, and I think outer space is fake. So it's not just like jock people. There's people of all walks of life that believe in flat earth, educated. What's called educated, credentials, Wizard of Oz type paper credentials. There's plenty of educated people that believe in flat earth too. I'm one of them. I'm somebody that my job was in academia, and I fully believe in flat earth, and it's part of what brought me to Jesus and the Bible, is finding out about flat earth, realizing, hey, yeah, I was believing in everything because it was just cartoons and I took it for granted. And so yeah, that's it about that. But then I started seeing flat earth stuff and I was like, this is kind of interesting. They started bringing up valid points. So I mean, I don't know, could be real, couldn't be. And I'm not so wishy-washy. He's probably only wishy-washy like that because he doesn't want to, just for the media. It's, I feel like once you get to this point, you're not like, it's either way. Once you're making public announcements that you think flat earth is okay, when you go and say, well, it could be, it couldn't be, I don't know. I feel strong in my flat earth belief that I can matter-of-factly say, yeah, I believe that the earth is flat and unmoving, exactly how the Bible says, and I believe in the firmament. What valid points? There's a lot. I have a lot of videos. Go check out my playlists. Something I have to do is update all my playlists with my videos. That takes a little bit, so I'll update my playlists, but I have good playlists out there. Science is Seance. If you're interested, hey, what is somebody who used to be like a sciencey type guy, who did used to believe in all that stuff, what do they think about flat earth? I've made my own videos on the subject, and it's not wishy-washy, it's not ape whatever theories, it's pretty rational, and I think that anyone with an open mind and an open heart, and with the humility to consider that maybe they've been duped, anybody can wake up to flat earth. And of course, all of the governments and institutions, if they knew, like, this was part of why it was easy for me to consider it. I kind of knew that if the governments did know that the earth was flat, would they readily tell that to people? And I'm like, of course not. Of course they would try to deceive people, because they wouldn't be able to convince people that this place is chaotic and meaningless if people knew it was flat. And that's where you'll run into all sorts of shills that, well, it doesn't matter. I'm so skeptical of people. I don't care either way. That makes me very skeptical of that person. Wait a minute, have you known about this for a while? Like, why are you acting so apathetic about something that really does matter a lot? Anyways, don't let people tell you what matters or doesn't matter. I'm so skeptical of people. It doesn't matter if it's flat or round or a triangle. Of course it does. Of course it matters if it's a rotating sphere hurling through nothingness, or a place that God made specifically just for us. And I get sick of the Christians that buy into that thing, because before I was Christian, I knew that the whole outer space stuff that they tell us is in direct conflict with salvation through Jesus Christ. It doesn't make sense to have salvation through Jesus Christ if there's like a bajillion planets out there and stuff. What, is he being born to a virgin on every little planet out there? That doesn't make sense. So, anyways, I have one more thing to go over. The flat earth basketball player, cool. Another thing is, this is a good example of a BS story about chimps. I'll just read through the slides. It's so stupid. But here's just more evidence that when it comes to their fake animals, they can come up with the dumbest stories that don't make any sense because it doesn't have to be based anywhere on reality. Today I learned a school teacher once got a kidney transplant where the donor was a chimpanzee. The teacher lived for 9 months, and in the autopsy, the chimp kidneys looked perfectly fine without any signs of rejection. So there's the programming is obvious. Oh, they're just like us. But I mean, haven't they done this type of thing with pigs? But that's actually getting into another thing, because I think a lot of people, and myself included, kind of have a feeling that pigs are some sort of human hybrid. And I would say the Bible supports that, because when Jesus casts out the demons from that guy who was infested with legion, they go into pigs. So, anyways, this story, obviously, it's trying to paint this picture of, oh, humans can take chimp things, but they just love any story about their fake animals. The news will always have silly monkey thing. If you're looking on the internet, click on one monkey video, your feed will start being filled with monkey video after monkey video. The fake monkeys, not like real. You're not going to start getting ring-tailed lemur videos all the time. You're going to be getting fursuit videos shoved down your throat. Total difference. Today I learned about a kidney, but the picture is a heart. What's going on? It's the image ripped from, it's just standard BS. There was also a baby with a baboon heart. She died at 32, going on 33 days old. So was the chimp an organ donor, or did they just steal them? They're gonna go at your emotions. This is part of why zoos don't really mind having the fake animals in kind of dingy conditions. These days, they really try to make it look like, I don't know, a fun adventure park. It's like a playground, a pristine, clean, no poop anywhere, not gnawed to pieces. It's like a pristine playground that children aren't allowed to touch. That's what the enclosures look like today. But in general, they don't mind having emotional stories. The zoo kind of doesn't mind playing the bad guy. Oh, look at that poor animal stuffed in a tiny cage, because it gets at your emotion. I think that's why for a long time they didn't care putting the gorilla suit in a dingy tiny cage, because people, oh, how sad that thing is stuck in there. When you believe that, you already believe in it, because you're feeling sorry for an actor in a fursuit. It's part of the magic. Her death, let's get to the ridiculousness of this story. Her death from cardiac arrest was found to be due to an imbalance of electrolytes, possibly due to the excessive urination. Sometimes they just want a pee joke or a poop joke for a story. They like to have sexual innuendos in their stories, their fake stories. This is stuff you learn about when you stop taking the news so seriously and you understand that it's all a big game to these people. You realize that they play the same tricks over and over, and the potty humor and really stupid middle school sexual stuff is very common in their fake stories. So the fact that this fake story, that's like the drop bears, the koalas with the whole chlamydia thing, that's like middle school antics for their fake animals. And this is, hey, we're coming up with some fake story about an orangutan. Let's have the lady pee 20 liters a day. Let me keep reading. Following chimpanzee kidney transplantation, frequently greater than 20 liters per day. Just an absurd number. It's not physically possible for a human to be urinating 20 liters more a day, I guess, and she allegedly lived for like 9 months like this. Somebody takes the time to take the Lord's name in vain. It is Reddit after all. What I don't understand is how anyone let that go on for 9 months. Urinating 20 liters a day is so far beyond normal that surely someone would have noticed. The edit is weird. Okay, there isn't anything that indicates that the school teacher was frequently urinating. I mean, the title did, right? or whatever. That figure is reported side effect common to other people who underwent similar surgeries. That figure happened only during the early period after the transplant. So, anyways, seems like dodgy, fake news type stuff to me. Of course, I don't believe in chimpanzees. So I think that this entire story from the ground up is totally fabricated and just taking the piss. I'm going to read. I'll go back. Do I have any nice pictures? I don't think so. Not today. Well, I'll just leave it at flat earth. This guy's cool for talking about flat earth. I'm going to read some of Jeremiah. Not sure how much I'll get through today, but if you want to pause, get your King James version of the Bible and open to Jeremiah chapter 3. I'm going to be reading some of this. I just peeked at it, and Jeremiah keeps saying really cool, interesting things. So let's see what there is. They say, if a man put away his wife, and she go from him, and become another man's, shall he return unto her again? Shall not that land be greatly polluted? But thou hast played the harlot with many lovers, yet return again to me, saith the Lord. Cool metaphor there that anybody should be able to relate to. I mean, maybe not some people today. But anyways. Lift up thine eyes unto the high places, and see where thou hast not been lying with. In the ways hast thou sat for them, as the Arabian in the wilderness, and thou hast polluted the land with thy whoredoms, and with thy wickedness. Therefore the showers have been withholden, and there hath been no latter rain, and thou hadst a whore's forehead. Thou refusedst to be ashamed. That's an interesting concept. I'm not entirely sure what a whore's forehead would look like. Maybe like proud. Is that what they're insinuating? I'm unsure. Wilt thou not from this time cry unto me, My Father, thou art the guide of my youth? Will he reserve his anger forever? Will he keep it to the end? Behold, thou hast spoken and done evil things as thou couldst. And I guess this is an interesting thing that, I don't know, maybe is to be pointed out. A lot of people, they think of the Old Testament as how angry God is and pouring his wrath upon the earth, which certainly happens, but more of a theme is that God's own people keep immediately turning away and going straight after idols and wickedness and whoredoms, and he withholds his anger. And that's, God is slow to anger. So that's something that gets flipped around. People think of the Old Testament God as this angry, wrathful, and there are some strange things in the Old Testament, I will admit, but whenever it's like very strange, I just am like, maybe by now the context is a little bit lost, or maybe this is because I do believe in certain corruptions of the Bible, because the book of Revelation mentions things being added or removed from the Bible. So I think by this point there could be some things that it's like, it might be explained to us in the end, oh, that got, or this is what that means, or that got changed around at this point, and this is the origin of that. I think that that's possible, but my mind just goes to the parts of the Bible where it's like children make fun of a guy for being bald, and then like bears come out of the wilderness and maul them. I don't, that's kind of something interesting, and I figure we'll hear the whole story in the end of what that was all about. So, where was I? Yeah, that's just a point that more often than being wrathful, you see God being slow to anger. Okay, verse 6. The Lord said also unto me in the days of Josiah the king, Hast thou seen that which backsliding Israel hath done? She is gone up upon every high mountain and under every green tree, and hath played the harlot. And I said, after she had done all these things, Turn thou unto me. But she returned not, and her treacherous sister Judah saw it. And I saw when, for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, I had put her away, and given her a bill of divorce. Yet her treacherous sister Judah feared not, but went and played the harlot also. Continuing this metaphor of it being a relationship, and when people go to idolatry, it's like cheating on God. And so that's, I think, an obvious and powerful metaphor that goes into the whole bride. The church is the bride, and how there's going to be the wedding ceremony in the end. I think I'm just going to read to verse 11, so picking up at 9. And it came to pass through the lightness of her whoredom that she defiled the land and committed adultery with stones and with stocks. And yet, for all this, her treacherous sister Judah hath not turned unto me with her whole heart, but feignedly, said the Lord, or saith the Lord. And the Lord said unto me, the backsliding Israel hath justified herself more than treacherous Judah. So interesting here too, the talking about sisters, and it's like if you had sisters and one of your sisters you see like being wild, cheating on her husband and all of this, and notice how the condemnation of Judah, the sister who isn't necessarily doing the same badness, it's that should be making you go to God even more. Oh man, look at what my sister's doing. I need to let her know, don't do that. And you need to go back to God and do it yourself too. That should be bringing you closer to God, not just like, oh, well, look at my sister being crazy over there. I guess and not being extra careful yourself. That's just what I'm taking away from this. That sometimes the craziness of other people should be reminding you to be extra steadfast and to cling to God even more when you see wickedness happening around you. Let me know what you think of in the comments, and if there's any topics, interesting things, you can always share them. This is just a casual thing to keep myself, and anybody else in the Word a little bit, and so that's what I'm trying to do. God bless everyone.